We'll try it. Let's go, Tyra. We're gonna be all right. You're early, but we'll be all right. Tyra and Amma. Tyra, take it away.
What can the project manager do to effectively respond to the stakeholders' concerns? A project manager needs to ensure that the team delivers business values within the required timelines. The manager recently learned that key stakeholders are worried that the current release plan will not meet urgent business needs. What can the project manager do to effectively respond to the stakeholders' concerns? A, renegotiate scope with the project sponsor after examining work breakdown structures, WBS.
What does that mean? Like renegotiate scope? What's that mean in like real people talk? Any idea?
I would say like reconfirm what the vision of the project is and or look at the objectives of the project, or maybe
how do you define scope in your terms? You're doing good, but just how do you define scope? What's scope?
I would say scope is like looking at all the details of the project and looking at like outcomes or what's the outcomes.
Yeah, it's all the details. Like renegotiate scope is like, hey, we wanted to do all this. Now we're going to do a little bit less. Like we're just going to cut it down. So that's one way to deliver stuff to change. So we're going to change what we're going to deliver. We were going to deliver everything. Now it's like less than that.
Okay. B, in consultation with the state team members, identify the minimal viable product needed for launch.
Okay.
So I feel like they're looking at the scope of the project within that. They're identifying like the minimum needs.
True.
Do
you like it or not like it, or what are you thinking?
I feel like it's okay. Not necessarily. Okay.
Not great, not too bad. Keep it going.
And C, determine the schedule performance index. Then escalate the scheduled risk to the project sponsors. So, I mean, I keep going back up and reading the question.
Yeah. Tell me let's forget the answers for a second. You're doing good. What's the real problem, like in common people talk? What do you think in the question?
So the problem is like they're worried that the current release plan will not meet urgent business needs. And
that's true. So yeah, the plan, like, what does that mean? Like, if it's like, hey, how we have it scheduled out, it's like not going to be right for whoever we're trying to serve, I guess. Something like that.
Timeline of it. Monitor progress. B is monitor progress using a burn down chart after modifying the schedule baseline to meet stakeholders' requirement. I'm not sure what the burn down chart is.
All right, we'll explain in a second. Okay. If you had to guess what the answer would be, where would you lean?
Maybe, I guess maybe B.
Okay, we'll go with maybe. We'll go there. Hang on, we'll come back. Amma, what are you thinking with this one? And we're going to go to Heather to help out as well. Amma, what are you thinking?
So I was looking at D to monitor the progress using a burn down chart after modifying the schedule baseline. The burn down chart, as I remember it, is a line chart that measures the time against the amount of work done.
True.
I'm trying to remember at the amount of work remaining.
Yes.
That's what I think the burner chart is. So if they're worried that the current release plan will not need urgent business needs. Then maybe something needs to be modified. So I'm looking at the question, looking at the answers, and it's a whole lot. I can't even narrow down what I'm picking at.
Oh,
But
that's
I
all right.
know,
So if they said like the release plan is like we're saying like today, this line's today, and then like here we're gonna release this chunk of work, and then that chunk of work over time, and then this chunk of work, and then this chunk of work, something like that. And it just lets them know like when things are gonna come out. So the powers that be or whoever's talking in this question saying like this is A, and this is B, and this is C, and this is D. They're saying like no. Like this organization of like A, B, C, D, whatever releasing, like that I don't think this is like, no, they're not gonna like that first, or this shouldn't go there or whatever. Like this is gonna make these people happy. Like that's not the order that we would do it in or whatever. But the approach that you have, the plan that you have, it's not gonna work. That's essentially what they're saying. And less work.
I'm just gonna stick with D and C.
Okay, that's fair. Heather, which one do you like?
So I'm still fairly new in my studying, and I'm like the guest here, but based off of the burn down chart, so I'm not really sure which answer to pick. I want to make sure I understand the question. So the manager recently learned that key stakeholders are worried that the current release plan will not meet urgent business needs. So the people that quote unquote matter are saying, hey, your timeline doesn't work for me. I really don't think this is how it's going to be able to go, because it's not going to meet the timeline that I envision. So monitoring the current burn down chart, I guess I kind of want to understand, can the burn down chart via monitoring kind of be manipulated to make things go faster? Because if that's the case, then I would go with D. But if the answer is no, and you can't read into questions like that, I would go with B, because what is the minimum viable product needed for launch? Because does that mean we would cut out steps? So I'm kind of stuck between B and D, because again, I'm still trying to learn how to interpret and process questions. I would want to go with I would gut instinct is go with B, because what is the minimum thing that you need that we can produce for you? If you're saying that my timeline based off of what my people can produce doesn't work for you. But if the burn down chart is something that I can modify and I can somehow make my people work faster, I would do that. So if there's like a B.5 or a BD hybrid, that's kind of what I would go with. I don't know how to.
BD hybrid, yeah. Well, I'll check. It might be a BD hybrid. On the burn down chart, just for, let's go back one. Basically, it says like, hey, this is how much work we start with in whatever increment or whatever we're doing here. It's like, this is how much we got. We know we got to get down to 0, right? Like, here's our general plan for doing it right now, assuming linear or whatever. And then each day we're going to say like how much has been done, and we're going to like plot the points and plot it and like whatever. And then with this, it brings, an understanding of like, dude, we're not to the goal. And you can like ask, hey, what we can do to speed up? What's holding you back? What things? Hammer down on it so that we don't wait till the end and be like, hey, have we finished? No, it's like we're watching the entire time, like how the work progresses and hopefully landing the ship or the plane on time. That's how I'm
gonna go with D then. I'm going.
All right,
D.
I've convinced Heather to go to D. There we go. So we can keep it there, because that's like we're trying to do it faster, right? We're trying to push on them. Okay, that's reasonable. Let's see someone else do some ideas. Good job. Let's go with Troy and then Ryan. What do you think, Troy?
So when I go back to the issue in that last part where it says release plan will not meet urgent business needs, I think you need to include the stakeholder and kind of align with what they're thinking. Is going to meet that need. So I say B.
Okay.
And then just identify, hey, with the stakeholder, hey, what is the minimum? What is the minimum value that you need to this to label this a success, and work toward that. So I say B.
All right, that's awesome. Ryan, I think I called him Ryan as well.
Yeah, I was thinking something very similar. Sorry to piggyback off your answer, but yeah, talking with those stakeholders, understanding what defines urgent business need. Just because it has that keyword urgent in there and we need to deliver urgent value. I'm thinking of answers that, we need to take action now. In my mind, we shouldn't be monitoring, we shouldn't be determining and planning for the future. It's kind of like, what can we do now to ensure that we achieve the goals that are in the short term, in the next couple of days?
There we go. All right, cool. We got a lot of agree with Troy. Walter says, I like the second part of D. Shavonda's on B. Shavonda, just finish this out. We got some arguments between Grace and whatever. Why do you think B's better than D, ma'am? And Josephine, we'll get you too.
Why do I think B is better than D?
Well, I don't care. Just tell me why you like B. Like what jumps? Yeah.
For the same reason. I mean,
All right.
we need an immediate win.
I like that. That's we can end on that one. That's good. The immediate win. You're trying to get like the wins, boom, right off the bat. Josephine, what's the question?
Mhm.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Iana, you finished your sentence?
Yeah, pretty much.
Trying to jump in.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't have a question, but I just want to kind of confirm or verify with you. I picked B, and the reason I didn't pick D because are we in the monitor and control phase? So if we want to modify the schedule, we have to go to the change request board.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Like, it doesn't. Shavonda, how do you think about like, are we in Agile or Waterfall? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we're in Waterfall.
Okay. I mean, we could still like, so both Shavonda and like, even if we're in Agile or Waterfall, we could still talk to the stakeholders and say, okay. You say what we need like Shavonda said, we need a win here. Yeah. Tell us what would be the win. What's the short-term win? Like you say it doesn't mean it, tell me what it means. Like all it says is identify the minimum viable product needed for launch. So we're just going out to the people that matter or whatever, saying, yo, tell us. And they're saying, okay, this, and we're saying, okay, cool. Then we can do, like, if we're in Waterfall, we can do a change request. If we're in Agile, we can talk to the product owner and get it rustled around with and get the right things, the release plan changed. So this is just getting the information from the people that matter. It's not necessarily turning the knobs yet. So, yeah. And then, Oscar, what are you thinking to close us out as we jump to the next call? What do you think, dude?
So I like B because we want to address the business value and obviously the business need. So in conversation with the stakeholders, we want to, the question says, effectively respond to the stakeholder concerns. So a minimum viable product would say, hey, what would you consider a working product since you're concerned with the team not meeting the deliverable and having business value. So B addresses the meeting the urgent business needs.
That sounds good. Yeah, it's like the business value, getting the urgent things, reorganizing it, getting it out there. Love it. The release plan. So boom, the answer is B. Good job, everybody. Heather, you were on it. You got to stick with the instincts. You got it. And then we're going to be good. And the burn down chart, we learned what that is. We went there. Super duper.